This is our second lecture in section 2.4. We are discussing how to subtract real numbers. So we're continuing on with example 16. In example 16, our first example, we just see a big positive number minus a smaller positive number. When you see that, that's the same thing you've been doing your entire life in subtraction. Just go ahead and do it. Don't worry about changing it. So we know this is 7 minus 6, which is 1, and 5 minus 5, which is 0, and 2 minus 1, which is 1. And it's a big one minus a small one, so we get 101. And that's our final answer. Now in part B, we're going to want to employ the change to addition, just like we did in those last example, number 15. So this is copy down the first number, 2,505, plus, and then we want to go for the opposite of this number over here. The opposite of a negative number is a positive number. And as soon as we see that, then we see, oh, well, we're adding a positive number and a positive number. Again, we've been doing this our whole life, so we don't worry about it. 5 plus 5 is 0, carry the 1. 2 plus 1 is 3, plus 0 is 3. 7 plus 5 is 12. 12, carry the 1. We have 2 plus 2 plus 1, which is 5. So our final answer here, 5,230. And that will be our answer. Now we go on to our next one. And our next problem, again, the first thing we want to do, because we see integers involved here, is we want to change this to an addition problem. Copy the first thing we see, the negative 179.3, and then we're going to add to that, and the adding is the opposite of this second number. So it's going to be a negative, because our number was positive. It's a negative 3.84. Now once we have that, we're back to an integer addition problem. We know that when we have the same signs, we're going to add those numbers up. So we're going to be adding 179.3. So 179.3. And we're going to add to that 3.84. And once we're all done adding, these will be negative. So again, we're going to line these up, and I'm just going to do this right underneath here, like this. And I'm going to put in the extra 0 here, and I'm going to ignore that because that's not what I'm doing. I have 0 plus 4 is 4, 3 plus 8, which is a 11, carry down the decimal as I cross it, and then put the 1 up there, and 13 is that sum, and put the 1 up there, and then 8, and then 1. So my final answer is going to be a negative 183.14, and that will be the sum of those two, or actually the difference of those two, but there is no difference. The next problem, again, I'm going to change to addition. Copy the first number that I see, add the opposite of the second number I see. So the opposite of negative 3/4 is positive 3/4. And now I have an integer addition problem. I have opposite signs here. And so to add opposite signs, I'm going to be taking the larger number, which is 3/4, and I'm going to subtract the smaller number, which is 1/4. And when it's all said and done, I'll keep the sign of the bigger one, which is positive. And that's going to, of course, give us 3 minus 1, which is 2, over quarters, and it's going to be positive. And now we reduce, and we know that reduces to a half, and so I'd let you get away with not showing me the work like I normally want. So that is addition of integers. So you have to remember it's a two-step process. The first thing you want to do is change a subtraction problem to an addition problem and then add. So subtracting integers is really adding integers. So finding a difference changes to an addition problem, and then you finish your work as we saw in the last section.